You probably do not think about clean water until it stops coming out. You twist a handle, fill a glass, and trust that the invisible system behind your wall has already done the dangerous work. The water has been collected, filtered, treated, moved through pipes, tested, and delivered as if it is the most normal thing in the world. But for most of human history, there were no faucets, no plastic bottles, no chlorine, no water towers, no warning labels, and no little sink where safe water politely appeared. There was just the landscape. And somewhere in that landscape, your body had to find one of the few things it cannot survive without. Ancient humans did not live without water. They lived without the modern idea of clean water. That difference matters. To us, clean water means something almost invisible. Water with dangerous microbes reduced, sewage kept away, chemicals controlled, and safety checked by people we never meet. To an ancient human, water was not a guaranteed product. It was a place, a memory, a risk, a smell, a season, a path, and sometimes a trap. So how did ancient humans survive before clean water became a system? The answer is not that they were magically tougher. The answer is that they were careful, lucky, knowledgeable, mobile, and surrounded by people who remembered where water behaved well. The first rule was simple. Humans followed water before water followed humans. Camps were often shaped by rivers, springs, lakes, wetlands, snowmelt, and seasonal pools. If a place had food but no water, it was not really a home. It was a place you passed through carefully. A good water source was not just wet. It was reliable. It came back after dry months. It did not vanish after one hot week. It could support people, animals, fire, cooking, tool-making, and movement. Water decided where a group could sleep, where children could grow, and how far hunters could walk before turning back. Ancient humans also read the landscape in ways modern people barely need to practice. Fresh animal tracks could point toward a drinking place. Green plants in a dry area could reveal hidden moisture. Bird movement at certain times of day could hint at nearby water. A dry riverbed might still hold water beneath the sand. A hollow tree, a rock basin, a cave drip. Or the inside of certain plants could become a tiny emergency cup. This was not random wandering. It was practical memory, passed from older people to younger people by walking the same ground again and again. Before maps, the map was inside the group, but finding water was only half the problem. The other half was deciding which water might betray you. Ancient humans did not know germ theory. They could not see bacteria, viruses, or parasites, but they could notice patterns. Water that smelled rotten was suspicious. Water crowded with dead animals was dangerous. Still ponds near waste, carcasses, or heavy animal traffic were risky. Clear, fast-moving water from a spring or upstream source was often a better bet than warm, stagnant water sitting in the sun. These rules were not perfect. A beautiful stream could still make people sick. A muddy puddle might be the only option. Survival was not about finding pure water every time. It was about reducing danger often enough to stay alive. Fire changed the relationship between humans and water. Once people could control fire, they could cook food, warm bodies, and sometimes heat water. Boiling water can make many dangerous microbes less dangerous, even if ancient humans did not understand microbes in a modern scientific way. But boiling was not a simple button. You needed fuel. You needed time. You needed a container that could hold water without burning or leaking. Before pottery and metal pots were common, people could use hot stones, hides, bark, wooden vessels, pits, gourds, shells, or tightly made baskets depending on the place and culture. Hot stones could be heated in a fire and moved into water, making the water hot without placing the container directly in flames. That sounds clever because it was clever. But it was also work. So ancient humans probably did not boil every sip the way a camping guide might tell you today. They made choices. Sometimes they drank from trusted sources. Sometimes they heated water for cooking, broth, plants, meat, or safety. Sometimes they took the risk because thirst does not wait for a perfect plan. Containers may have been one of the quietest survival technologies humans ever made. A spear helps you face an animal. A container helps you leave the water source. That is a much bigger idea than it sounds. If you can carry water, you can cross dry ground. You can stay away from a river when predators gather there. You can bring water to children, injured people, elders, and fire. You can turn water from a place into a portable resource. In some regions, ancient people used things like ostrich eggshells as water flasks. Other groups could use animal stomachs, skins, gourds, bark, wood, or clay-lined pits. Many of these materials decay, so archaeology often sees only hints. But the idea is powerful. Humans did not only find water, they learned how to move it. Clean water was never only an individual problem. It was social. A lone person could guess wrong, drink badly, and disappear. A group could remember which spring dried late, which pool became foul, which path was safe at dawn, and which place should be avoided after animals passed through. Children did not need a lecture called water safety. They watched adults choose, reject, dig, carry, heat, share, and wait. They learned that thirst had rules. They learned that the landscape had moods. They learned that water was not just something you drank. It was something you respected. And still, many ancient humans got sick. This is important. The story is not that ancient life was secretly healthier because it was more natural. Natural water can be beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Waterborne disease, parasites, dehydration, and contaminated food could kill people long before anyone knew the names of the invisible enemies. Infants, children, injured people, and already weak adults were especially vulnerable. Some people survived because they made good choices. Some survived because their group knew the land. Some survived because the source was actually safe enough. And some did not survive at all. Ancient humans were not superheroes. They were humans living closer to the edge. Today, clean water feels like a small convenience. But it is one of the biggest hidden achievements of modern life. Behind one glass of tap water is a whole civilization: pipes, treatment plants, engineers, sanitation systems, testing, maintenance, and rules. You do not have to know where the spring is. You do not have to watch animal tracks. You do not have to dig into a dry riverbed. You do not have to ask whether the pool smells wrong. You just drink. That is comfort. But it also hides how strange the comfort is. For most of human history, water was not something that arrived. It was something you searched for. Maybe ancient humans survived without clean water because they never treated water as simple. They treated it as knowledge. They treated it as memory. They treated it as a relationship with land, weather, animals, fire, containers, and each other. Modern water is safer, and that is a miracle. But maybe the old lesson is still there under the faucet. Water is not just a liquid in a glass. It is the reason a camp could exist. A child could live through the dry season, and a group could walk one more day. Maybe the strange part is not that ancient humans survived without clean water. Maybe the strange part is that we can drink from a sink and forget that survival is flowing through it.